I suppose this is the part where I tell you why I did it. Why I became the monster they all fear. The villain they whisper about in their stories. I could lie, give you some noble excuse, but what would be the point? You've already made up your mind about me, haven't you? You see, the world loves to talk about heroes, their courage, their victories, their endless spotlight. But no one ever stops to ask, what happens to the ones they leave behind? The ones who don't fit into their perfect little world? That's where I come in. Not by choice, by necessity. You think I was born this way? A villain? Number, I was shaped, molded by the same system that worships their so-called heroes. Every scar I carry, every wound, they gave them to me. And then, when I finally fought back, they called me the villain. Do you know what it feels like to scream for help and be met with silence? To give everything, only to be discarded when you're no longer useful? That's where it started for me. Not in hatred, not in greed, in pain, in rejection. At first I thought it was just bad luck, that maybe if I worked harder, if I tried a little more, things would change. But they didn't. The more I gave, the more they took, until one day there was nothing left. That's when I realized the truth. The world isn't fair. It doesn't reward kindness or goodness. It rewards power, control. And those who have it will do anything to keep it. That's why they fear me, because I refuse to stay in the shadows where they tried to bury me. They created me. Every betrayal, every rejection, it wasn't my doing. It was theirs. They handed me the tools and I used them to build the only thing that could survive in their world. Myself. Do you know what it's like to walk alone? To have nothing but your anger to keep you warm? They say anger destroys, but they're wrong. Anger builds. It's the fire that forges you, that makes you unbreakable. They'll never admit it, but they need me. Their precious heroes would be nothing without someone to fight against, someone to blame. And I played my part, didn't I? I gave them a reason to be heroes. But who was the hero for me? Sometimes I wonder, if someone had reached out, would things have been different? If someone had seen me, really seen me, could I have been more than this? But wondering changes nothing. No one came. No one ever comes. So I stopped waiting. I stopped begging for their approval, their love, their light. I took the shadows they left me in, and I made them my home. They feared me for it, but what did they expect? They'll call me a monster, as if that absolves them of their part in all of this. But the truth is they need monsters like me. I remind them of what they try so hard to forget, that their perfect world isn't perfect at all. I'm not their villain, I'm their mirror. The reflection of everything they want to pretend doesn't exist. Their cruelty, their selfishness, their flaws. This is my final confession. Not for forgiveness, I don't want it. Not for redemption, I don't need it. I tell you this because someday, someone else will rise like I did. Someone who the world forgets, who the heroes abandon. And when they do, I want you to remember this. Villains aren't born, they're made. And when you call them a monster, when you call them evil, don't forget who gave them the reason to fight back, who gave them no other choice. You made me what I am, and now you'll live with it. The shadow doesn't disappear, it only waits.